Go ahead.
Okay, you are very frightening there. You are frightening. So, thank you very much for being here. I know it's a summer night where there's a lot going on. It's very good of you to be here, and it's good to be together. It's we are more than just political people. We're most of us are good friends, and it's always a pleasure to be together. It's encouraging, and it's a growth opportunity to be together and be inspired by one another. So, I want to thank the Michigan Democratic Party for organizing this, and Meg Mandy, representative of MDP, for writing to all of you and getting this on the road. And I do want to just cite Jill Farber-Gramson from West Bloomfield. Where, Jill, did you?
I'm right
Jill,
here.
oh, Jill's right here.
Hi, Jill.
Jill had 2 letters published today, 1 letter in 2 papers, attacking Mr. Bentivoglio, or questioning his conduct. So it's just so timely and just wonderful of you to do that. In the Oakland Press and in the West Bloomfield Observer and Eccentric. So thousands of people were reached. Thousands of people were reached through Jill's letter. Hopefully we can be as effective, Jill, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Next Thursday, September 5th, we are having our Club 11, and this is going to be at Bayside Sports Grill on Walled Lake, East Walled Lake Drive, in the city of Walled Lake. And this is our District 11 social get-together. So it's not a meeting, but it's just a chance for us to meet and mingle and get to know each other. We are so spread out. You know, the gerrymandering was perfectly done, and we are so spread out, it's difficult to get to know each other. People from Canton, like Trevor, have to meet people from Troy on the other side of the county. So these opportunities will be great for us. They're wonderful people. Let's get together. This is this Thursday, 6:30 to 8:30. And then our regular monthly meeting will be on Saturday the 21st at the Commerce Township Library. So my name, by the way, is Jim Gualdoni, and I am chairperson of the 11th District Democratic Party. So my pleasure. I am tremendously pleased to be with you, and tremendously pleased and to be with you, Meg, and I thank you very, very much for your work, and tremendously pleased to be with you, Jim. Okay. A representative of the Novi News is here, the gentleman sitting in the rear, and we're glad that you're here also. So, here's the story. We have tremendous difficulty speaking with our representative in the U.S. House, Mr. Bentivoglio. I see cameras coming up here in the House. That's terrific. It's almost impossible to speak to him. Once in a while somebody gets through, but usually we meet with a staff person or with nobody and get the big runaround. It should not be that way. Certainly we should be able to talk, and party leaders should be able to talk to our representative. So, he will not cooperate with his constituents, so he won't come out for a town meeting, so we'll conduct our own town meeting without him and report to him what's going on. That's the scene. He will not meet with us, so we will have our own town meeting, and we will bring the results to him. He will hear what we have to say, nevertheless. We hope. Perhaps the staffer will throw our papers in the trash. That would not be unheard of, to be very honest, but we hope that he gets our message. Okay, so, do you want to give us some directions? Grinch, are you ready?
I don't know, can you hear me through that?
We can hear you, yes. I'll stick this in there.
Well, you know, I had to change my outfit today because I realized that when I have my reindeer, I have those reindeer, and at Christmas time I used to dress up like Santa Claus. But I realized Santa Claus gives away free stuff. So I had to change my outfit to be, I had to wear the Grinch outfit at Christmas time this year, because I can't give away free stuff to be a Republican, or else I might get primaried, and I wouldn't want that. So I'm here to listen to all of you and put all the things that you have to say about what I've been doing in Congress. I know I haven't been doing much. I've only worked a few days this year, but boy, do I get paid well. And I get free health care. It's awesome. So I really like my job as a congressman. I really thank all of you for electing me to the Congress of the 11th District.
Thank you, Grinch. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. And I should mention those weekend comments of Mr. Bendivoli, with the comments that were reported over the weekend about how he dreams of being, of impeaching President Obama. What an insane and ridiculous thing for any politician, any national leader to say. And we might have our differences, of course, but to impeach President Obama is ridiculous. Somebody wrote back when I sent that message out saying, here's my dream, impeach Mr. Bentivolio. That would be interesting. By the way, on next Thursday at our Club 11, we do have a candidate for the U.S. House from our district. A candidate, and others are welcome. We may have others. But Dr. Kumar will be there, so if you would care to meet him, drop by. Okay. There's a number of things on these papers. You can get some ideas, but we can start off. Naughty list and complaints, or positive things and some praises. We want some of those too, of course. But so we could just start off. And Grinch, you're going to write these things down, right?
I think I'll have some help,
Oh, some help.
because I can't feel it.
Well, you can't see it. Do your best. Do your best. Okay. So who is going to write? Oh, Kim. Yeah. Meg, you're going to do it.
There, just put it on the top. Put it back.
Okay.
Okay. So who's going to go first? Who's going to go first? Yes. Alan Bramson from West Bloomfield. Perfect. Good idea. Yes, let's use the mic so everybody hears every good town meeting.
Yeah, let me
set up.
use the mic. I'm a retired college professor, and we have very concerned about what might be a one-class society. According to what I've been looking at and reading and so forth, you voted to cut taxes for millionaires while raising Medicare costs on Michiganders. That is very, very unfair as I see it. I don't want to live in a one-class society. The only class is yours. What we should be doing is raising taxes on millionaires, not lowering taxes on millionaires.
Well said, Professor. Thank you. Thank you. Meg, you gonna get that down? Really well said, Alan. Thank you. From West Bloomfield. Dr. Stone, I know your brain is ticking away. You're not ready yet, though?
Sure.
Okay, come on up.
I'm always ready.
And I'll time you, our usual arrangement.
Well,
Come on. Okay, speak to the Grinch, Randy.
I believe in a two-party system. I don't believe in a system that you believe in, namely no government is the way to handle bad government. We all know there's bad government on the local level and the national level. And the way to handle that is the same way we came together in World War II and we worked together. And obviously you don't want to work with anybody. I'm not sure that even the Republican Party wants you in the position you're in. So, and let's face the fact here. If we didn't have any government, there would be some group that would form an organization that would be like government without the safety nets that we have called Constitution of the United States. That's an important part. The other part is you cannot separate these different parts of government. Okay? I'll give you an example. Government helped save our competitive system of economics by bailing out GM and Chrysler. Back in the 30s when, well, Detroit's been in trouble before. They were in trouble during the Depression. And who bailed them out? It was Henry Ford, $5 million. Okay. So there's always been where one group, one organization is going down, the other one builds it up. Look at the stock market. When the Federal Reserve looks like they're going to stop supporting our economic system, the stock market goes down. The next day, it looks like they're going to help the government by keeping low interest rates. The stock market goes up. You know, there's not a division, and this guy is playing a long game. And whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you got to get rid of somebody like this because he's detrimental to our society.
Thank you, Dr. Stone. Thank you very much. Okay, we have that?
Yep,
Got it. I didn't see you writing it down.
it's up here.
It's up there, okay. What about our list?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Here's an interesting point. You know, the big thing with Mr. Benvolio is we're giving stuff away to people and we can't afford it. That's one of his big points. And of course, he's thinking of the black person in Detroit. That's his image. We're giving them the lazy, to be honest, welfare mother in Detroit. But that's the big thing in his mind. But let's remember, he's getting a lot of freebies. Everybody's getting a lot of freebies with exemptions for mortgage interest. Business people get many tax write-offs for business expenses. Everybody's getting freebies. In his case, it's capitalism and it makes sense and it's an investment in the future. In the other person's case, it's wasted money. And that duplicity, that hypocrisy is a terrible thing, which I think we don't want to be part of. We don't want to be part of that deceit and racism. I told a friend, we were driving up north, and I said, well, you're getting a hell of a lot of freebies from the government. You live in a big house in Novi, and you're writing off that mortgage interest every year? That's fantastic. And he said, oh no, that's capitalism. That's just capitalism. I said, that's a freebie you're getting from the government. And he said, no. But we were two couples were spending the weekend together, so I didn't want to get too far involved in this political discussion. On the way home afterwards. Okay, and another speaker. Jill Farber-Bramson from West Bloomfield Township.
I would like Grinch Bentivolio to know that he needs to stop the Republican war on women. Stop treating women like they are second-class citizens. You voted against the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women's Act. You want to shut down and defund Planned Parenthood. You are against a woman's right to choose and so many other rights that are women's rights. You've got to stop this now.
Thank you, Jill. Grinch, you can have a few words.
We're going to put the racism on the list.
Well, I think we should.
What makes you think you can choose better than the government can choose? That's what I'd like to ask the young lady here. What makes you think you can choose? What makes you think you know your body better than the government does? I'm for small government, but I want to be up inside.
They listen on your telephone so they can tell you the feelings.
Yes.
Are there any jobs in there? I just want to know. If we have any jobs in there, that might be a better reason to not let you choose what to do.
These legislators, you know, legislating morals for people. Who in the heck is this guy there? This guy who's legislating morals on you and you and you and me and all this, telling me what's right and wrong.
What makes you think that you should have control over somebody else's body and autonomy?
You have an answer for that?
I'm a man. That's it.
You mean you are sexist and you are a misogynist? Thank you very much.
Yes.
And,
I'm a man. I get to control you.
What
You're a
is
woman.
that,
Sit down.
that terminology from years ago, a male chauvinist pig? Does that date me a bit? But you are.
Maybe raise them.
Thank you, Joe. What was your comment? You come on up to the mic and just mention it.
I said maybe male chauvinist reindeer. But I do have a comment.
Good, thank you.
I guess I'd really like to know, having been on the Board of Education in Farmington for 12 years, a while back, your stand on education and what kind of financial support, if any, you would give to education. I think that's an important issue that needs to be discussed. Thank you.
Education. Well, education is only for rich people. You know that, right? We only want rich people getting educated. We want poor people to just stay at home. We don't want them getting any education. We're not giving any more free money. They're not doing well. We're going to close down all the schools, as many as we can, like we did in Chicago. I want them to do that here in Detroit. We need to close as many schools as possible to save money and just give money to rich people.
Where did you go to school? How much did you
I don't
spend
think I
for
should
it?
tell you that.
And how much do you
I don't
spend
think
for
that's any of
health
your
care?
business.
How much do you spend for health care? Is
I
that
get
just
free
somebody?
healthcare.
Oh,
I get free healthcare
really?
paid for by you.
So you're on welfare?
In a manner of speaking.
Okay.
Never say that. Never say that about yourself. No, you're not. You're not on welfare. Although it's the same thing. It's other people are on welfare. Yes. Tess, Dan, Tess, you want it?
Following up on education.
Come on to the microphone, Tess. Tess Kelly from Novi. On the shore of Walled Lake, city of Novi, but on the shore of Walled
School
Lake.
teacher.
Oh, you were.
Yes, I was
Wonderful.
for 30 years. I made it 30 years, Mr. Grinch. How many
Hang
years
on,
did
I
you
can
make
barely
it in?
breathe.
Did he make it 3?
What was the question?
Well, my question is, as an educator, okay.
Tess now
So I
teaches
made
at
it 30
Madonna
years to
University.
education with good evaluations, and I retired and had a stellar career. What about yours in education?
His goal was to make every child thrive.
Yes.
He wanted to have the child.
Every child.
Well, because Republicans always say that it's very difficult to fire teachers, and there has to be this whole evaluation process now because of all these horrible teachers, which you were one of them. And for some reason, Republicans seem to think that this is what's happening in education, that all teachers should be evaluated because there's so many bad ones out there. But it seems like you were never evaluated. So how can you say that the teacher is really bad, but you somehow, and they don't fire teachers? It's very difficult to fire a teacher, but it seems like you got let go from a district. So how would you answer that?
Are you lost for words, Grinch? Go ahead, answer it. It sounds like it, doesn't it? You got him, Tess.
Well, some of my students didn't like me. I think they even, wrote some bad evaluations about me, but you're obviously just not on board with the Republican program, because we need to get rid of the bad teachers. There are so many bad teachers. I think we should homeschool every student. There shouldn't be any more public schools. We need more charter schools in our school districts. And we need to give the government money to private corporations to educate our children, because we're obviously not doing a very good job.
Thank you. Deborah Goldberg from the city of Farmington. Debbie, go ahead.
Okay, well, we met with him a week ago on a Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock. We spent an hour and a half with him. He is really open to being, one of his weakest elements is immigration. Because he really believes that there's only one way that we can pass an immigration law, and that's if we make sure over the next 5 years that the boundaries around the United States are all closed. Okay? He really believes that. So I don't know quite how you shake that, but that's something that we need to poke holes at, because he is, along with a lot of other Republicans that feel the same way. I brought up the issue of student loan costs, and he agrees, and he says that they are going to pass some new piece of legislation when they come back in session. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what he said. I talked about the cuts in the Farm Bill, and how it left senior citizens and poor people without food stamps or Meals on Wheels. And he says, well, we need to do something about that too. I said, well, what would you do? He says, well, but at this moment I haven't got an answer to that, because the Republicans have to sit down and discuss what it is they want to do. I said, well, you've got to do something a lot more than what you did before you adjourned. And then the last thing that I accused them of, because I went in there not to argue with him and not to fight with him and to try and keep him from telling me things that I knew were not true. And so the first one was the immigration thing, and I challenged him and said, look, I'm not a dummy. If I was here, I wouldn't be a dummy. I wouldn't have come if I was a dummy. I came here to talk to you because I want to find out what you think. He says, well, okay. So we tried to talk, and he just dragged it on and on. I mean, one of the things he's very proud of is being a vet. He claims that the accusations about him as a school teacher are not correct. So I don't know if there's anything to verify that, because he seems to think that the campaign manager of the last campaign made up stories about him. And I don't know whether that's true or not, okay? And my last thing is that the Republican Party's belief that only Republicans should vote at issues that are on the agenda. I said, that's not a democratic premise. He says, well, we're not a democracy, we're a republican. We are a republic. I said, well, whether we're a republic or not, we all think that we elect people to represent us, and if you don't let them vote, then we aren't being represented. I said, now it just so happens you're supposedly representing me, and it's obvious that you and I have vast differences on what we think should have happened before you adjourned. So I said, I'd like you to think about that. And he said, well, he told me that one of the Republicans had put in a rider on the food stamp thing, and he wants me to read the bill. So I haven't had a chance to read the bill yet, but I intend to look at it. So I think you need to look at the accusations and make them so that he has to come up with answers. Not that, try and make it so, because otherwise you're going to have wasted your time. And I will read the bill, and I will attempt to meet with him again to discuss the food stamp thing, because I really think that's a biggie.
Thank you very much, Debbie. Thank you. Good of you to get in there, and a good idea about being pointed and sharp on the points we bring up with him.
Right.
And you mentioned the primary, or primary was mentioned, so we think there certainly would be a Republican primary in, say, August of 2014, because we think the regular Republican Party is not going to allow the Tea Party to just kick them out of all the action and take over. Well, they're organized in Oakland County, but to take over the Republican banner never happened. And we're almost positive that the Republican regulars are going to run somebody against this Tea Party extremist. Because even the Republican regulars are disappointed in this person, and they don't know him, and they're not buddies, they're not collaborators together. Steve, you had a point? You could use the microphone. Why don't you use the microphone, Steve? Steve from the city of Novi.
Isn't the Republican Party going to have some kind of a state convention? I don't know if it's this year or next, because they don't like Lieutenant Governor Calley. And is that not going to give us an indication of the power of the Tea Party versus the Republican Party?
A convention is coming up, and that we'll be able to tell a lot by what happens at the convention. If the Republican regulars that control the convention, which is likely, they might have not even allow Mr. Bentivolio to speak. I mean, they're not in bed together.
Jim?
They're enemies.
Jim,
Yes, Marilyn.
I-
Marilyn, come to the microphone, please.
I talk loud enough.
Marilyn Crock from the city of Novi.
Thank
Marilyn.
you. That's why I'm here, because I live so close. Okay, if I recall, to get a little historical perspective, anyway, if I recall, when Bentivolio put his hat in the ring, McCotter was still in play. And I heard Mark Schauer and a bunch of not Schauer, what's his name? No, not Brewer, the Republican guy. He's the, no. The guy who's the state's attorney's general, what's his name? Shooty, okay, who I hate, okay. I heard Shooty actually throw Bentivolio under the bus, saying that he's an accidental candidate. Do you remember that? He was on he was on the TV calling Bentivolio an accidental candidate. So the supposition that they might try to get rid of him, I think, is correct. They were very unhappy. Dr. Taj, because I worked on his campaign, was doing, his numbers were really well, considering that he's Indian and Muslim in this area. Okay, he's Indian and Muslim, and he got like 40% of the votes, and he took Canton. Okay, so people, Bentivolio has to go. Tea Party, from what I understand from the national press, is on the decline. And I might point out to you that from my daughter's friends, those people who come from staunch Republican families who will now vote in the next election in 2014 are becoming Democrats. So I think the Tea Party is on the decline, and I think that I can see them not running him again. What we have to do as Democrats is to find somebody strong and viable to run as the 11th district candidate, and that's what we don't seem to have. Do you understand?
I'm supporting Marilyn Crock of Novi as our candidate.
I would
Yes.
love it. But anyway, yeah, we need a woman. We need to get some of the people that left the state for other places, because there's nothing going on here, to come back and move back here. Do you hear what I'm saying? Okay, we need to, never mind. But anyway, so I don't know. I think we need to find a good candidate. I don't think he's going to be elected. I don't think the Democrats, the Republicans are going to put him up again. When they were upset, and if you recall, when it looked like that Dr. Taj was doing really well, some people threw a lot of money towards, ads on TV. All right? So
Yes,
what we, and that did it, because remember, there's some morons living around here.
Thank you, Marilyn.
That's
Thank you.
my comment, and I think we need to find some good candidates and then.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Throw your hat in the ring. We're waiting for you. And we want to direct our words to the Grinch and to Mr. Bentivolio.
Are we actually going to say some things to Mr. Bentivolio?
Yeah, that's why the microphone is here. That's what we want to do. Say things to Mr. Bentivolio, to our representative. And
I need to have a few more words.
but first, a few more words from Jill Farber-Branson. But first, here's the line. But first, order tonight, and you get 2 of these. But first, okay.
2 minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
Special promotion.
But first, Jill, okay, Jill.
Okay. Grinch Bentivolio, I have this to say to you. If you are on the way out as a heavily supported candidate by the Republican Party, why is it that you had a big, huge fundraiser a few weeks ago at the Townsend Hotel in Birmingham, and Speaker John Boehner was there to support you? Furthermore, you say that you really support our wonderful, heroic veterans, and yet, when veterans were telling you that they had PTSD, they feel suicidal, your answer to them was so callous. You said, buck up. What do you have to say for yourselves? I want answers to those questions, Grinch.
Well, first of all, to the woman that just spoke, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be the candidate for the Republican Party in 2014, so you can forget about that. I raised a lot of money with Mr. Boehner. Mr. Boehner is on my side, and I'm definitely going to be the candidate in 2014, so just buck up. Buck up. With a B. And as far as the veterans, you know, I feel bad about that, but you know what? We just can't afford to take care of our veterans anymore. I'm sorry. We just can't afford it. I've looked at the budget.
I'm getting sick.
The money just isn't there. So they're just going to have to deal with it.
Thank you, Grinch. Yes, sir. Come on up to the mic. From the city of Farmington Hills.
I'm from the 14th Congressional District, so we're your neighbors, and we're in Farmington Hills. And Mr. Grinch, I got to tell you, we're very embarrassed by this district and the fact that you represent the people, because you're making decisions not only about this district, but you're making decisions for the entire country. And some of the decisions that you have made are really, really hurtful to the American way. You call yourself an American, but I'm not sure you understand what the values are. When you talk about a dream come true in impeaching a president who has done all he's done, got us out of 2 wars, given us a healthcare system that we have a chance now to get 30 million more people on, all the things that this man is doing, and your dream is my nightmare, sir. And I really wish that this district could put up somebody who could take you on, beat you, and kick you out.
Yeah.
Well said. You just want to grumble, or you have something intelligent to say here? No, reaching for the mic.
Well, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I think I'm doing a great job. We're cutting the deficit, and thanks to the Republicans, the deficit's coming down. President Obama had nothing to do with that. And I'll tell you, when I was in a room with President Obama, I couldn't even stand to be next to that man. I want to impeach him. I don't have any evidence. I don't have any reasons, but I think he needs to be impeached.
Remember that article by Maureen Dowd in the New York Times?
Yes, yeah. Great article.
And her first paragraph and the last paragraph, you want to impeach him because he's a black man and you are the superior race. That's basically it, because you don't have anything rational. There's no rational basis for what you say.
That's a rational excuse, and we should all recognize it's rational. It's not irrational.
Right.
Okay? And because of that, anyone that thinks like he does can't be in public office.
Cool. Cool. Thank you, Jimmy. Yes, Jeffrey, go ahead.
Mr. Bentivolio, I understand that you were Speaker Pro Tem last month for one day. Now, you were saying that the person that was a representative from Samoa was from Somalia. Do you know where that country's at?
It's near Milford, isn't it?
Did you teach geography?
No one said you had to be smart to be a U.S. congressman.
What kind of teacher were you?
We were a geography teacher.
Thank you, Jeff Surrey. Others. It's a little bit nervous. Everybody's nervous speaking with a microphone, but just take a deep breath and you just spit it out. Walter Sobczak from the city of Novi. Come on up, Walter. It's a nice library you guys purchased here. Very nice. Thank you.
Mr. Bentivolio, a while back you sent me a letter expressing your dislike for Obamacare, and in it you said that it should be, the insurance industry, private industry should control healthcare. Now I'm asking you this question, do you mean that insurance companies should still be allowed not to cover children born with physical defects? Do you mean that people should lose their homes? As far as I just heard recently, the biggest cause of bankruptcy in this country is excessive health care costs that are not covered. And I'm wondering, is this the way private industry you think do a good job or a better job than Obamacare?
Thank you, Walt.
Well, I certainly do think the insurance companies are doing a fine job. And they were doing a fine job before, and I really want to go back to the way things were. I really feel sorry about those children, but I think that the children and the families just have to buck up. I just can't see any other way to do it. It's just costing us too much money. We cannot afford Obamacare. That's it. And if you don't have enough money in this country, I remember during the Republican debates last year, someone asked, I think Walt Blitzer asked if someone had, a young person had cancer, they didn't have insurance, what should happen to them? And unfortunately, that's, the Republican Party just believes that if you don't have health care, and I've got mine, you get yours. That's kind of the way we think these days. And if you can't afford to get the treatment, well, you're just SOL.
May I ask you one other question? I'm on a pension. I'm helping 2 other families to meet their bills because of unemployment. I know countless college graduates who can't get a job, never have a hope of getting married, owning a home, or paying off their debts. You have time to waste impeaching President Obama. You have time to waste on many peripheral issues that have no effect on the general welfare of the country. Why is this? Why are you wasting time when you should be working to get jobs in this country?
It's very important to repeal Obamacare. We need to have 40 more votes to repeal Obamacare until we get it done. That's it. That's all we're going to do. Just deal with it. That's all we're going to do is vote on repealing Obamacare for the next 12 months. That's it. So just get used to it.
Walter, thank you very much. Well said, Walter. If the reporter from the Novi News wants to talk to some individuals afterwards, please, we have some great thinkers here, and from the city of Novi too, which is pretty cool. Which is no surprise. I didn't mean to act surprised. Jeffrey Surrey.
Mr. Grinch, yes, I'm from Livonia here, and we were there last week in your office, and it's the month of August, and you're on recess. And
we do that a lot.
I understand that.
You only work about 10 days this year.
Yeah. And so I understand that when one of our participants in our event, which discussed the idea of common sense gun law legislation going on, to your staffer, Sarah.
You know I'm carrying, right?
What's that?
You know I'm carrying, right?
Yeah, I understand that. When we asked her, could you at least bring out a map that would show what areas you represent? And the only thing that they could bring out was a map that was a 2 by 4 foot poster board lamination piece that only identified Oakland County as part of your district.
So what's your question?
Do you know what your district is? You can't even figure out where Somalia is at.
Yeah, that's a problem.
We have the map of the whole district. You've seen it at our meetings. Yeah, easily available from some agency in Lansing. And I understand even Mr. Bentifolio's Washington office doesn't have a map of the whole district. I tried to, when I was searching for the map, I talked to them. But then I found it easily afterwards. Yes, Carmela. You've been through a lot lately.
Yeah.
Just talk about it. Carmela Langley from City of Novi.
Welcome to our library.
Welcome. Thank you.
Mr. Bentifolio, I have read recently that there's a bill in Congress that you support that is trying to alter the funding for Title I funding. And Title I funding basically is funding for at-risk children. And this, I was appalled to hear that you have decided among your constituent, your Republican friends, that the Title I funding should be cut 99%, no, 100% for the children that have over 99% poor kids, which just absolutely baffles me because Title I funding, that's what it's all for. So in essence, it's a backdoor way to eliminate that funding. And it has proven that it is assisted in these areas. And I just would like to hear your logic in that.
What's the problem? I'm not sure what the problem is.
The problem is that Title I funding is what's helping, that's giving support staff to the schools, primarily in the schools, to help these children.
I'm not here to help them. You don't understand. I'm not here to help them. I'm only here to, you know why we don't have the full map in our office?
Because you don't care.
I don't care, and I only care about what that Republicans vote for me. That's it.
Yes, sir.
To that point, this money for at-risk children is probably the best investment we can make. The payback for these kids who are at risk, to get them into school and get them through school and get them jobs, is a tremendous payback, anywhere from 8 to 16%, depending upon the studies you look at. Even here in Michigan, in Ypsilanti, the Ypsilanti study that was done many years ago showed that putting money toward at-risk kids is one of the best investments we have in this country. And children are the future of our country. Why won't the Republicans, why won't you understand that when you care about having a good workforce, an educated workforce that can move forward and make the wealthy wealthier?
Did you understand that at all?
Yeah, it's hard to get through because, being a Republican and all, it's really just the ideology that's important. Helping people isn't really important.
You care about children until they're born.
Spending, that's what you're talking about is spending. And we can't afford, we can't spend any more money. We're already spending more than we take in. So if you don't understand that, then I just can't help you.
But you'll spend the money in prisons to incarcerate these children who don't have a chance.
Absolutely. Prisons are good jobs. Those are job creators.
Yes. Cynthia, you had a good point there. You just said under your breath. Do you just want to step up to the microphone and just say it?
What did I say? Oh, I
You said he cares about...
he cares about these children.
But go to the microphone so we all hear clearly. Cynthia Churches from the City of Novi.
You care about children until they're born, and then you don't care about educating them, or, you're so pro-life, but then once the child's born, you don't follow up at all.
I think she has you there, Grinch.
But here's what I'll say to that. I'm
Just
pro-
directly
I'm
from the
pro-birth.
nursery to prison.
I'm not pro-life. Let me make my position clear on that. I'm pro-birth, not pro-life.
Oh, I see, pro-birth.
Thank you. It's a good, interesting distinction. Yes, Alan Bramson.
Yeah, I want to summarize a couple things I'm kind of concerned about. I don't know what we should call you, crash or shutdown, because I think of all the things that you are opposed to, such as General Motors, Chrysler, totally against it, voted against it, didn't want it. Pretty soon, we're going to reach a debt ceiling in our government. I'm wondering, would you like our government totally to shut down? And what would happen to you if there's no government? I'm kind of interested.
Yeah, no more free stuff for me.
No health insurance, that'd be tough.
No health insurance, yeah. I guess we all, we all have to buck up, right? Including me. So if I don't have my health care, I got my reindeer. We can fly away. We can go to the North Pole. We're good.
Name those.
Other comments for Mr. Bentivolio? Other comments? Randy? Come to the mic, Randy. It's better, always better that way. Randy Stone from Commerce Township.
I guess in total, there's a problem with your kind of person. And it's denying all the positive things that our support systems do for people to get them so they're self-sufficient the way you claim they should be. Can you tell me that Head Start is not a way of getting people self-sufficient, given that as a former member of the Ball Lake School District and Board of Trustees there, I know the Head Start programs work very well for the middle class and upper class too, to get those kids going. So how can you deny that to people that are don't have the advantages we have out here?
Thank you, that was just come up here. Well said, Randy, very well said.
Well, all I can say is that I'm dying in this mask. My face is going to lose 10 pounds. Anyway, what's the question? Head Start, you're talking about Head Start.
And other support, support programs.
Well, I really want to make, like Grover Norquist said, I really want to make government small enough to flush it down the toilet. That's the whole purpose of the Republican Party at this point. We just don't care about you or your problems.
Then why don't you step down?
And,
That would eliminate a job.
the people don't elect me, I'll step down. But I'm going to be running again in 2014,
Well, I think you should
and I just don't
volunteer to
care
step
about your problem. I really don't. I only care about the Republicans that vote for me. Whatever their issues are, I'm going to vote for those. And when the Koch brothers give me money, I'm taking it, and I'm going to do whatever the Koch brothers tell me, and I'm going to vote with the Tea Party all the time. You can count on that.
Straightforward, sir, straightforward. Okay. I think so, yes, it's 8 o'clock, it's a good time to wind it up. Okay. Thank you very, very much. It's been great. There were some very, very moving comments. It was wonderful of you to speak up like that. So remember, next Thursday at...
Hold Bentivolio next year. Thank you very much.
Next Thursday at Bayside Sports Grill, that restaurant on Wall Lake, 6:30 to 8:30. It's open house at any time in there, or come and have supper.
Do you realize that next Thursday and Friday are Jewish holidays? Yes.
No, I did not.
Obviously, you don't have a calendar, Jim. It's the second night of Rosh Hashanah, which those people who are observing will not be coming. Yeah.
Of course not. Yeah, of course not.
Like if you invited Senator Levin, he would. Okay?
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Oh my God.